Miss Transformers 96 here with another video review. This time I'm going to be talking about a newly shown Transformers Last Night product. This time we have Hot Rod, the deluxe figure. So we finally have an official image of the Hot Rod character in his figure form, and it's kind of disappointing. A lot of people have been posting kind of fake images of Hot Rod using the lockdown figure and just kind of editing it to look like it's got the paint scheme of Hot Rod with the new head sculpt, and that's what Hasbro did as well. It is just a repaint. However, I will say with further examination of the two compared to each other, it is slightly tweaked, and tweaked for the better, basically. So it does seem to be like an upgraded version of the lockdown mold. However, it is still the lockdown mold for the most part, which is pretty disappointing. I will say that the head sculpt does look very nice. It's obviously a new head sculpt. The torso, as you can see, the top of the torso, the chest area, is new as far as how it's done. It doesn't have that piece that comes over the pieces of the car, and it looks quite flat and just kind of like two pieces of a car hanging down, which does look very odd. I think that Lockdown looks a bit more like more has happened to it, and it looks like it sticks out to the front a little bit more rather than being so flat. So I'm not a big fan of the way they did the chest. The bottom piece of the torso is exactly the same as Lockdown from what I can tell. The legs seem to be exactly the same, except they don't have the wheels on the thighs anymore. Those have been moved. It's actually been moved to the arms, which is interesting. The top of the arms seem to be identical, nothing new, but the bottom of the arms do seem to be completely new molds. Obviously, with now having the tires on them, as well as they've done something that I really am glad they did, is that the panels that went down past his arms or past his hands in the lockdown mold, now they stop before they get to the hands, which I think is a huge improvement. That was something that I really didn't like about the lockdown figure, is the fact that his panels came down past his hands. It just looked very strange, very shell transformer-y. This one it fixes that, which is nice. And then it does have a bit of a backpack, just like the lockdown figure. So overall, it is just a repaint that's been tweaked for the better in a few places, such as the arms. But I think it's been tweaked for the worse as far as the torso is concerned, even if that little piece at the front here of lockdown doesn't quite match up with the Hot Rod figure, or the Hot Rod character of the movie. Overall, wish that they did do a new sculpt. However, I understand the temptation of just tweaking one of the old ones, considering they do have the same alt mode. They're both Lamborghini Aventadors, which is a wonderful car, so I am very excited to get his alt mode, which is very cool. And as you can see, it looks like those tweaks in robot mode actually help the alt mode as well, because there is a gap over here with the lockdown figure, which has now been completely taken care of. The Lamborghini on Hot Rod looks perfect. Like, I literally don't see anything wrong with it. So I'm very excited for that alt mode. I do hope that it does look as pristine in person as the production images of it does, because it looks just perfect. Really nothing wrong with it at all, which is wonderful. So overall, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be disappointed about how it is just a repaint. However, they could have just went straight up repaint with the new head, and luckily they did tweak a few things. So I'm not super happy about this, but I'm not at the same time particularly upset. I'm not really looking forward to Hot Rod's character in the movie. I did go to that preview at the IMAX where they did show 30 minutes of the film. Some of those scenes had Hot Rod in them, and he just didn't do anything for me. He's got a French accent, which I think is very strange, and yeah, he's just not a character that I'm particularly excited about. But we'll have to see. Maybe he's very cool in the movie, and maybe he can change my mind. And also, I think that the face is just so standoffish. Like, it's hard to form a emotional attachment to something with that face, because it's just so weird looking, and it doesn't really emulate a human's face. So I think that it does look very odd. So I'm not a big fan of Hot Rod in the movie so far, but that can certainly change once I see the movie. So I'm not particularly excited for this figure. Will I get it though? Of course, just because it is, another movie character of a character that is in the movie. So I am quite excited for it because of that, but character-wise, not super excited for it. But there you go. That's my thoughts on the Deluxe Transformers Last Night Hot Rod figure. Let me know what you guys think of the figure, and thanks so much for watching.